Good morning, children. In the previous class, I had explained about the effects of change of pressure and temperature on the states of matter, in which we have understood that as the temperature increases, the state of matter will change from one form to the other, that is solid into liquid and liquid into gas. And if you reduce the temperature, the gas will solidify into liquid and the liquid will further solidify into solid. Then about pressure, we have understood that if you apply pressure, then pressure can be applied on the gaseous state but not lesser on the liquid, and the solid cannot be compressed. This is what we have learned in the last class. Okay. We have also come across a phenomenon called sublimation, in which the solid directly converts into vapor and vapor into solid without moving into the liquid state. I had given you the blue questions to be written down, okay, on page number 9. The blue questions on page number 6 was already discussed in my last video. So this time we are discussing the 9th page. Here conversion is asked, 300 Kelvin. So I told you conversion scale is, if you want Kelvin to be converted into Celsius, you have to subtract 273. So from 300 removes 273, that will give you the Celsius reading 27. Similarly, from 573, if you remove 273, it will be 300 degrees Celsius. Now, which is the physical state of water at 250 degrees Celsius? I told you it will be gaseous state, and 100 degrees Celsius will be both gaseous and liquid state, because the water starts boiling at 100 and then converts into gas. So at 100 degrees, both the state of matter is present. Then next question is, why does the temperature remain constant during the change of state? Because the heat which you are supplying is utilized for the change in, for moving away from each other, or for conversion of one state of matter into another. Last is, suggest a method to liquefy atmospheric gas. I think I have already discussed these questions in the previous class. Am I right? Okay. So by cooling and by applying pressure, you can liquefy the atmospheric gases. Next topic which we have is evaporation. What do you understand by evaporate? Evaporation stands for water converting into gas. The particles of water starts moving away from each other and convert into gaseous state. That phenomenon is called evaporation. Here, who is supplying the heat? It is the heat of the atmosphere, the blazing sun, the atmospheric temperature. That is responsible for the change in state. You know that in characteristics of matter we have learned that particles keep on moving away from each other. So in liquids, the particles are already far away, and when they acquire temperature, when they gain temperature from the atmosphere, when they gain heat energy from the atmosphere, the kinetic energy increases and it gains so much of energy that it is able to break away from the molecule of water. So that is how they convert it to vapor. So the phenomenon, definition is, the phenomenon of change of liquid into vapor at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. Okay. So for that, boiling is not necessary. Before boiling itself, they are converted into vapor state. Now factors. What are the factors affecting the evaporation? There is an activity, very simple activity. What is mentioned over there? You take 5 ml of water in a test tube and keep it near a window or under the fan. Secondly, you place that 5 ml of water in a china dish, that is a flatter dish. Third is 5 ml of water, you place it in an open china dish, that is flat dish, but put it in cupboard. See, second situation is you are keeping it near the window or the fan. Third situation is you are asked to place it in a cupboard or a shelf. Okay. Now you try to observe them. You will find that there are certain factors on which this rate of evaporation depends. What are they? This is a very important question which is often asked. It may be a 2-marker, 3-marker question. So the rate of evaporation will depend, number 1, on increase in surface area. How do you understand it? You know, when you have to have milk or tea before going to school and there is lesser time left, what do? You will not sit to sip from the cup. Instead, you will pour it in a flatter surface, that is a flatter dish, and then you try to drink it. Why? Because as the surface area increases, the evaporation rate increases. So the clothes which you are going to put to dry, that is also spread out. You don't bundle it up, you don't pile it up. Then it will take more time to dry up. Correct? So this is an important question. Put clothes up, spread out before drying. Why? To increase the surface area so the evaporation will be quicker and they will dry up quick. Second is temperature increase. If the temperature goes high, the rate of evaporation increase. You know that at present it's rainy season. Humidity is high, due to which what happens? The clothes doesn't get dry up easily. Whereas during summer, it won't take much time to dry up the clothes. So as the temperature is more, the drying phenomenon, evaporation will be high. Humidity. If the humidity is high, then again the rate of evaporation will be low, because already humidity means what? The percentage of water vapor in the atmosphere. So if the atmosphere is having more amount of water vapor, then there will be lesser addition of water from the surface, that is from the clothes or from any wet surface. There will be lesser amount of water added. So evaporation will be less. But if it is lesser humid, means dry atmosphere, dry climate, then the evaporation rate will be high. Next is increase in wind speed. If it's windy, if it's a windy day, you find that the addition of water vapor into the atmosphere will increase. That means rate of evaporation will increase. So because the water vapor which is added to the atmosphere is carried away by the wind, so the immediate region around the surface will be having lesser water vapor, and hence water vapor from the surface, that is water surface or from the wet clothes, will be added into the atmosphere. So total there are 4 factors: increase in surface area, increase in temperature, increase in wind speed. All these 3 are, if they increase, the rate of evaporation increases. But in case of humidity, if it increases, the rate of evaporation decreases. Okay, so this is a very important question which is often asked. Next, how does evaporation cause cooling? You know that whenever there is evaporation, you feel a cooling effect. You sweat during summer, am I right? Or if you have done a workout, you sweat a lot. But after that, you feel a coolness. Sweating is cooling your body system. So how is it cooling your system? Because when the sweat comes out, when your body is covered with sweat, it actually utilizes the heat of the atmosphere to convert into vapor and dry out. So immediate region around you, the temperature will drop because the sweat is absorbing, the water droplets on your body is absorbing that heat to convert into vapor. Okay, so absorption of energy from the surrounding makes it cool. Where is this used, this phenomenon used in day-to-day life? You know that when you are applying nail polish or any nail polish remover, that is acetone or alcoholic substance, spirit, onto your hand, you feel a cooling tendency. Why? Because those material, they absorb the heat from the atmosphere to evaporate. So there is a cooling effect. Temperature of the atmosphere reduces immediately near your palm. On a hot sunny day, you sprinkle water either on the surface of the roof or on the ground. Why? Again, that water which you sprinkled, that will utilize the atmospheric heat, temperature, to convert into vapor. So the temperature cools down. Did you understand? So these are asked as a give reason, or they may say, how is the cooling effect brought about by evaporation? Cite with an example. So you can write this as an answer. The next question which is often asked is, why should you wear cotton clothes in summer? I already gave you the reason just now, that during summer you perspire a lot, you sweat a lot. Okay, so during evaporation, when you are sweating, the material should be such which will absorb the sweat, and cotton is a material which will absorb it very coolly. So when it absorbs, then the cotton cloth will take time, will take the energy from the atmosphere to dry up. So immediately around you there will be a cooling effect. Is that clear? So that is an answer. This entire paragraph will be an answer to this question. It's a very, very important question. Another important thing which is asked is, you see droplets of water on the surface of the glass containing ice cold water. Even cold drink bottle or anything, not necessary it should be a bottle containing water. Even if you have taken out any vessel from the refrigerator and you place it on the surface at room temperature, you will find that after some time the surface of the vessel and where it is kept, there will be water droplets. From where did that water come? That is the immediate region around that vessel or the bottle or the surface. The air which is present will come in contact with the cold body and condense. That is how the water droplets are formed. Is that point clear? It is converse to, it is exactly opposite phenomenon to evaporation. Condensation takes place, and that is how the water droplets are seen. Clear till here? Okay, now you have a blue question over here. This is to be written down in your classwork book. What is the blue question about? First is, why does a desert cooler work better than a hot dry day? Why does a desert cooler cool better than a hot dry day? Because the outer walls of the cooler, in a cooler there is the water is sprinkled and there is a fan rotating, due to which that water gets evaporated by absorbing the heat around, and that is how the cooling takes place. That is the basic phenomenon of the AC or any cooler. So the outer walls of the cooler is sprinkled in water. It will keep on evaporating, and the evaporation causes cooling, which is then sent into the room by the fan. So on a hot dry day, why does it work better? Because if the environment is dry, the moisture in the atmosphere will be less. So more amount of water will be evaporated into the atmosphere, and hence cooling will be better. Second, why does the water in the earthen pot become cool during summer? Again, same thing. The earthen pot is porous in nature. Porous means it is having minute spaces. It's not actually whole, but there are minute space. So through that space, what happens? The water evaporates to the atmosphere. So in summer, the atmosphere is dry. So rate of evaporation from the pot will be more, which brings about a cooling immediately around the pot. That is making the water in the pot cool. Third one, why does your palm feel cold when you apply acetone or perfume or petrol or any vaporizing substance? Because these particles, they will absorb the energy from the atmosphere, heat energy from the atmosphere, and evaporate. That brings about the cooling. Fourth one, why are you able to sip the hot tea faster from a saucer than the cup? Because saucer offers larger surface area, so rate of evaporation will be more, so it will cool down quickly. What type of clothes should you wear in summer? It will always be a cotton material which is preferred and a lighter color, because light color will reflect heat. Is that point clear? So these are the questions which is to be written down. Along with that, you are having questions in the exercise. That is page number 12. First two questions are on conversions. If you want to convert Kelvin, you remove 273, and if you want to convert Celsius into Kelvin, you add 273. So I hope you will be able to do it. Next, naphthalene balls disappear if you leave it, because naphthalene balls are subliming substances, and sublimation process means converting directly from solid into gaseous state, vapor. So the naphthalene ball vaporizes, and that vapor keeps the cloth safe from the termites and the bugs, and you are not able to see the balls after some time. We can get the smell of perfume sitting several meters away, because the particles of the perfume, they diffuse into the atmosphere, and with the current, wind current, it will be carried to farther distance. Fourth one, arrange according to increasing order of force of attraction. Force of attraction is lesser to greater. So lesser to greater, if you try to see, it would be oxygen will have least force of attraction because it's gaseous state. Then water, and finally sugar, which is solid state. Then what is the physical state of water? 25 degrees Celsius will definitely be liquid state. 0 degree will be solid as well as liquid. Just as I gave you an answer, 100 is gaseous as well as liquid. Because these are the two temperatures wherein it is neither completely solid, nor completely liquid, nor completely gaseous. It's a conversion state. So there will be two states existing at these temperatures. Again give reason. Water at room temperature is liquid. So what should you write over here? You will say that at room temperature, it is having the right amount of distance between the space between the particles. It is not, the temperature is not enough that it can vaporize, so it cannot convert into vapor state. because it will vaporize at 100 degrees Celsius. Again, the particles cannot come nearer to each other and freeze, because for that the temperature requirement is 0 degrees Celsius. So therefore, water at room temperature will be liquid, because neither the particles can come closer to each other nor can they go away from each other. Means solidification or vaporization is not possible, so it will be in liquid state. And iron almira it is written, almari is solid because it has a definite shape. It cannot flow. The particles of this almari is very close by with higher force of attraction between them. Therefore, it is solid at room temperature. Means you will give the properties of solid, characteristics of solid. Why is ice at 273 more effective in cooling than water at the same temperature? Remember, this I explained when I was talking about latent heat of vaporization and latent heat of fusion. In this particular case, you will say that the latent heat of fusion is very high, because ice, if it has to become water, it has absorbed the heat. So definitely water will be having more heat, more latent heat at 0 degrees Celsius than ice. So ice is a better option for cooling. What produces severe burns, boiling water or steam? Obviously steam will produce more burn, same answer. Because in steam, boiling water, from the water at liquid state to convert into vapor, it requires heat, and that heat is absorbed and converted into vapor. So it will have tremendous amount of heat, latent heat of vaporization, so it will cause burn. Now this figure you have to complete it. Such type of figures are asked. They have said that name A, B, C, D, E, F in the diagram. So solid, it will melt and become liquid, so A will be melting, and liquid on vaporization will become gas, so B is vaporization. Gas, if you reduce temperature, it will condense to liquid, so C is condensation. And liquid, if you further reduce the temperature, it will become solid, so solidification. So ABCD is clear. Now E part, solid directly converts into gas, so that will be sublimation. And gas directly converts into solid by reducing temperature and increasing pressure, that is sublimation again. So E and F will be sublimation. Is this point clear? So with this, your chapter is over. Please complete the questions which I have already told you, the exercise questions and the question on the previous page 11. Okay, next class we'll start with the next chapter. Thank you.